Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Jazzy and today I'm going to be talking about one of my most favorite movies of all time. Not exactly in the top 10 per se, you know, but it is still one of my personal favorites and I do not get tired of watching it. Kind of like, taking advantage of the momentum generated by my recent Jurassic World Evolution gameplays and talking about Jurassic Park movies and stuff. Today I'm going to be reviewing a classic called Disney's Dinosaur. Now I know what you guys are probably thinking. Why is Chazzy talking about a kids movie from so long ago that completely faded into non-existence? You know what? If you think anything at all related to this, you can go screw yourself because I love this movie so much. I can still watch it today in 2021 and still feel as good as I did the first time, you know, because like I did say in my previous video and I'm going to be talking about later to another vlog, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with dinosaurs. The word really truly is obsessed. I don't know why exactly or how, but I just really loved them a lot. You know, at some point I got into them and it was just a rabbit hole from there. I really wanted to be a paleontologist, you know, and I was a huge fan of the Jurassic Park movies and I also really liked Disney. So when I saw that there was going to be a movie called Disney's Dinosaur coming out, you know, but this was back in the late 90s, you know, and the movie was going to be coming out in 2000. So as a kid, it's like 1 year seemed like a lifetime later, you know. Like the hype behind this, I think it was the first time in my life that I was actually hyped to watch a movie, you know. I really wanted to see, and the day that I finally did, it was amazing because I had seen the trailer so many times, because back in the day I had this thing called VHS tapes, you know, where you would go to a store and buy actual cassettes to put in a VHS player, and I do believe it was every time that I bought a Disney movie that on VHS, before the actual movie there were trailers to show you movies that were going to be coming out in the future, you know. I do believe it was before Tarzan, you know, the 99 movie Tarzan, that there was a trailer for Dinosaur that was going to be coming out the following year, you know. I must have seen that trailer 50,000 times, you know. It's like, and I also played the Dinosaur game for the PlayStation 1, but I do believe that was already at a time when the movie had already come out. But the point is, I really loved this movie back in the day, you know, and like the idea of having dinosaurs actually talking and interacting with each other to me was pretty cool, because back then I used to really like The Land Before Time, which was an actual cartoon, a whole series of animated movies that showed how can I say, kids in the form of dinosaurs, young dinosaurs growing up and being friends and learning, going on adventures, you know. It was really cool. But at one point there were so many of them that it just became oversaturated, but I used to like them a lot, you know, back in the day. But Disney's Dinosaur was special because it was the first CGI movie that I ever saw, and because it was computer animated, generated, you know, it seemed so real to me. As a kid, you have a very impressionable mind, you know. It was very real to me, and I used to think these things were actually there talking, you know. So it was really cool, and for a time it was my favorite movie ever. I probably watched it 1,000 times in my lifetime, you know, and it's been several years since I have seen it, but I'm going to be recording this video today. It's going to be like I saw it yesterday, you know, because I have seen it so many times. So anyway, basically it's about, at the very start of the movie, it shows you like a few regular, like a regular habitat with dinosaurs and their natural habitat per se, you know, they're grazing, they're socializing, they're doing this and that, and suddenly a Carnotaur bursts through the trees and starts attacking the herd, you know, and all of them run away from it because it's a predator that is used to its prey running from it so it can give chase and it could have an exhilarating hunt, you know. So then it chases all of the dinosaurs, scatter, they flee. The Carnotaur actually steps on a nest of eggs and iguanodon eggs, you know, but it destroys all of the eggs except one, and eventually this egg is picked up by an oviraptor, and another one comes in and they fight over it. Then they let it drop into the lake, and then a dinosaur swallows it and spits it out. Then a herd of triceratops, not triceratops, I forgot the dinosaur's name. They're trying to drink water, and then the egg gets splished and splashed over the place. Then a pteranodon swoops in, takes the egg and flies away with it, but then it's attacked by birds, you know, it's trying to take it back to its nest, and then the egg falls into what we later find out is Lemur Island. You know, it's an island completely isolated from the coast, you know, from the mainland where all the dinosaurs are. It's an island populated entirely by lemurs. It's very lush, you know, it's very nice. And one of the lemurs, you know, sees the egg and it hatches, you know, and you see that it's actually a baby iguanodon. So basically this iguanodon grows, you know, and it's raised by the lemurs growing on the island, completely isolated from its own species, and they named the iguanodon Aladar. you know. Now, the thing with Aladar is that because he was raised on the island by the lemurs, he has no idea how herd mentality works on the mainland, you know. He wasn't raised like regular dinosaurs where he has to move in groups of his own kind and migrate to different areas for food and water, you know. But anyway, the main issue that strikes the movie is a meteor that hits the island, you know. It hits off in the ocean, and as you guys know, that meteor strikes are very, very disastrous and back in the old times, you know. So then it creates an effect where the island is eventually destroyed and they end up on the mainland. And that's when everything starts changing for Aladar, you know. And that's when he starts to see predators like raptors who come after him to attack and kill him and eat him, you know. So he has to run away in fear. Then eventually he runs into a herd, you know, led by Crone, you know. I'm pretty much narrating the whole movie at this point, huh? But anyway, so the point is that Aladar eventually, with his family of lemurs, finds his way into herd life, you know. He meets up with different dinosaurs in the herd, and he starts to understand how it works to live on the mainland, you know. And he meets up, he makes friends with a Styroragatops, I forgot the name of her name is Ema, and a Brachiosaurus called Baleen, you know. They're very old timers, so they actually make friends because they're nice, you know, they're very kind, unlike the other animals who are just very rude and have that herd mentality, you know. And Aladar has a different personality than the other dinosaurs, you know. So while everyone else has the whole fend for themselves mentality embedded in their minds, Aladar actually cares about others and tries to help them whenever he can, you know. So he automatically becomes the most selfless dinosaur in the entire herd. Now, as the movie goes on, the character dynamics between certain dinosaurs start to really unravel, you know. Some of them, like certain characters, they change for the better and others for the worse, you know. We have the herd leader who is Crone, who has a sister named Nira, you know, and Crone is a head honcho. He's very, very brutal, he's aggressive, he's macho, he really doesn't care about anyone except himself, you know. He has a right-hand lieutenant called Bruton, who he eventually abandons after he gets hurt by Carnotaurs, you know. And Bruton is a character who does have a change of heart towards the end because he decides to sacrifice his own life to help to save the others, you know, which actually happens. And Crone unfortunately does not do an about face at all, you know. Nira does sort of change her mentality because she and Aladar start to fall for each other, so they eventually mate, you know. And mate, because normally you're talking about people, you know, they fall in love and they, I don't know, they get married or something. No, but they're animals, they're dinosaurs, so they mate. It's funny to say that, but anyway, so as Aladar infiltrates more and more into the herd, he starts to teach them that, like, staying together, sticking together, and looking out for each other is the best way to survive. And eventually it works because the whole herd sticks together and actually scares off a freaking Carnotaur at the end of the movie, you know. There are two Carnotaurs that serve as the main antagonists throughout the movie, you know. And then as it goes on, you know, you see that they're actually stalking the herd. They have their scent, they're trying to find them and eat them. But one of the Carnotaurs eventually perishes in a rock slide inside of a cave, you know. And the bigger one, which I do believe is the female, she survives and she breaks out and goes to continue on her way, you know. Eventually this Carnotaur tracks down the herd to a ravine of sorts, a cliff edge where everyone is trapped. And in a very stark parallel to the opening scene of the movie, the Carnotaur charges at the herd. And this is a predator that's used to animals running away from it so it can have the advantage, you know. It's the thrill of the chase. But then all of the animals stand their ground and they start bellowing at the Carnotaur, you know. They start like roaring at, not roar, they bellow, you know, they bellow at the Carnotaur and yell at it, you know, and eventually it stops and backs away and it actually lets them pass reluctantly, you know. And the Carnotaur is like, what the hell is going on? You know, this isn't how it's supposed to go. I'm a predator, you're prey, you're supposed to run away from me. What the hell are you people doing? You know, so basically that's how it works. And eventually it spots Crone by himself and he sees him as an easy target, goes after him. Then Nira and Aladar follow, and then they all end up at the top of a cliff, and the Carnotaur hurls Crone at a rock and kills him. And then in what I consider to be the most epic scene from all of the movies that I've seen back in the day, you know. Stop calling me. There's this stupid person from another state calling me. What I consider to be one of the most epic movie scenes in history, even still to this day, and one that I rewinded hundreds of times to watch again and again, was when Aladar pushes the Carnotaur off of a cliff, you know, the cliff crumbles and it falls, you know, roaring, and then smacks the ground and dies. And that was just like an epic send-off for an epic villain, man, you know. This thing was a remorseless killing machine, you know. And you see the parallels reptiles, like you see the differences between the dinosaurs that are herbivores and carnivores. None of the carnivores talk, you know, similar to the Land Before Time, like I mentioned before. None of the carnivores talk. They just roar and attack and kill and eat, you know. The herbivores are the ones who actually have vocal cords and can communicate with each other, you know, because the protagonists are herbivores, so it does make sense that way.
No! Don't move! If we scatter, he'll pick us up! Stand together!
Now, I'm not entirely sure if this was the very first fully CGI, computer-generated a movie that Disney had made, but it was the best one in my opinion, you know. I think and I'm not talking about traditional animation where you hand draw and then animate. No, I meant completely CGI, you know. And it was still really cool because, I mean, remember guys, I used to love dinosaurs back when I was a kid, so this movie to me at the time was the best I had ever seen, and I rewatched it so many freaking times, even into my adolescence and early adulthood, you know, and I could definitely still watch it today and really like it a lot. So it's just one of those movies that I can never get tired of, you know. And I had the original PlayStation 1 game as well, you know, Disney's Dinosaur, and it was really hard for me at the time, but I did eventually finish it, you know. I believe so. I think I eventually beat it, you know, and it was freaking crazy killing the Carnotaur at the end. I had so much fun playing that game, you know, and it was a very good tie-in to the movie in my honest opinion. So I think it was really cool how things worked out, you know. And I actually have to this day something here that I think is really interesting. It's called Dinosaur, the Essential Guide. Can you guys see it? And this is basically a book that takes you, it's like a walkthrough for the movie, you know. It kind of shows you what happens, you know, in the movie, and it gives you details about events that happen in certain Cretaceous life, like flowers, you know. Can you guys see it? And also it's a guide for dinosaurs too. It talks about certain dinosaurs specifically, you know, the herbivores, the carnivores, you know, and it's the Lemur Island, you know. It's really, really cool. I think it's a very cool companion to the movie if you guys have ever seen it, you know. And the pages are kind of stuck because it's been a long time since I've opened this thing, so it's a little sticky. But yeah, it just keeps telling you about what happens in the actual movie itself, but also the animals, you know, the dinosaurs, you know, the characters, specific characters, and how certain things were back in the day, you know. So I think this is a really good book, you know. I'm actually gonna read it later after I'm done with the video because I think it's really cool. Look, we have a little thing about Baleen, the Brachiosaurus. Look how big she is. Freaking insane, man, you know. I really like this book a lot, you know. I used to read it so much back in the day. Just holding it in my hand, you know, it's like so much nostalgia. Holy freaking crap. Walt Disney Pictures presents Dinosaur, the Essential Guide. So, I do believe that, I don't think you can even find this book anymore. It's probably a freaking relic. If I try to sell it, I'm gonna probably make a good profit, but I definitely would not. You know, I really like this book a lot. It represents a good chunk of my childhood. But anyway, I think that's it, guys. I don't know what else I can say except that this movie had a really strong impression on me back when I was a kid. Like I said, I used to watch it a lot, back to back, multiple times. I would not get bored of it at all. And I just think that, like, I don't really know how to describe it, man. I mean, it's awesome to me, you know. It's something that really, it's very nostalgic today to me, but at the time it was unprecedented, you know. And I think it's a very underrated Disney movie. I think it deserves much more appreciation, you know, because Disney rarely makes anything related to dinosaurs. So I think that, like, if they ever made a sequel to it, well, I don't know. I don't know if a sequel could be, like, because there is a happy ending. They all end up in the nesting grounds, you know, everyone is happy and all that. So, but I don't know if there could be a sequel. You know, I'm actually satisfied with the way the movie is, but if Disney ever decides to make a sequel, even if it's just a shameless cash grab, you know, I might watch it just to see how it is, you know. But it's been a long time. It's been 21 years. I really don't think they're gonna be banking on a sequel anytime soon. But anyway, I love this movie a lot. I really do. Very, very cool. Amazing special effects. Very good story, a lot of pulse-pounding moments, and no blood and gore, you know. Very little violence is shown because it is a kids movie after all, but it's still very good for adults to watch too, in my honest opinion. So that's it. If you have never seen Disney's Dinosaur, what the hell are you waiting for, man? Have you been living under a rock? You freaking suck. Go watch it. It's been waiting for you for 65 million years. Okay, but that's it, guys. That's it for today, all right? This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.